Today we're doing another art critique. Hello everyone! Welcome to Art Business with Ness. I'm Ness and I'm a professional children's book illustrator. I really wanted to thank you so much for your incredible enthusiasm for this new series of art critiques that I've just started. There was such a great response to the first video in this series that I posted to my channel. If you haven't seen that video yet, I will leave the link somewhere on the screen and also in the description as well. Your positive reaction really let me know that yes, this is something that you really want to see on this channel, so we'll definitely do more. In this video, we're going to critique two new amazing illustrations. I can't wait to show you. Before we start though, I have a very quick update and announcement. You may or may not know, I also offer paid one-on-one portfolio reviews. They're currently priced at $97 for a 1-hour Zoom consultation and my written notes. This is much cheaper than the industry average for such a service, and lately I've really been seeing the number of appointments scheduled to me ramp up quite a bit. I'm starting to have trouble keeping up, so I'm going to be hiking up the price very soon. Next Sunday, so that's June 19th, 2021, I'm going to be hiking the price up to $197. I'm letting you know in advance because I really want to give you the chance to buy one now at the current price before it goes up, if you wish to. So if you're thinking of getting one, now is the time, my friend, while it is still at only $97. And you can schedule it for several months in advance too. So even if you're not quite ready for your portfolio review yet, you can still reserve your spot now at the lower price. Alright, that's it for the announcement. Let's get into this. So first off, we are starting with this beautiful illustration from Emilia. So Emilia sent me a few different illustrations to choose from. This is the one that I'm going to review today, but she also sent this one, and I really wanted to show it because look at this. so beautiful. I think this one, Emilia, is my absolute favorite of every one of them that you sent, and I think it's because this illustration really shows all of your strengths and none of your weaknesses. So this really focuses on the rendering, the soft, beautiful style that you have. You're obviously very comfortable drawing nature and, nature type backgrounds. So when you focus on that, you are so professional level. Like, this is so well done. But in some other of the illustrations that you sent, some of your flaws were showing a little bit more. So in this one that I'm going to review today, again, the beautiful soft style, lovely colors, this yellow beige, beautiful. You really set a lovely atmosphere and lighting. You can just sense the warmth of the summer and you can hear the crickets. It's so well done. But these illustrations also show some of the flaws that you have in your anatomy and perspective a little bit more than the other illustration did. This one, it's a straight on angle. It's easier to do. This one, you're drawing from above, and she's on a bicycle, like a bicycle from above. That is very difficult. I really want to stress that you tackled something extremely tricky and you did quite well, so congrats on that. We can make this even better, of course. I'm going to show you some of the little things that can be improved, but I have to give you props for going out of your comfort zone and trying to push and improve yourself. That's really great. So in this illustration, you have some issues of perspective, and you may be thinking, perspective? What? Like, this decor is so simple, it's just a field. How can I have messed up the perspective? But perspective is more than just the background. It's also how the objects and characters are placed inside that background, and if they fit. The perspective on the characters themselves just as important as the perspective on the background. So here in this illustration, you have your horizontal line right about here, and you have a 1-point perspective from the middle. So very simple, but your character here doesn't look like she fits quite as much into this perspective. If you look especially at this section here, it looks like we're seeing it straight on, like our eyes are around here, right? Because we're seeing this like exactly straight on. but our eyes are supposed to be here. The horizontal line is where our eyes are, okay? We're seeing this from above. Let's add some white here a little bit so we can see a little bit better. So we're just gonna remove that stuff. So I have a little bit of space to do my thing. What you wanna do here is create a space where your character is, okay? Where you're going to be drawing your character and the bicycle too. And then we're gonna do a little trick here where we draw an X to find the middle. Okay, and here also the middle. So we have drawn a space here where the character is supposed to be. And here, since this is so difficult, I really encourage you to use some reference images. There's really no shame in that. A bicycle, that's very difficult. You need to know what you are going to draw in order to draw it. So I went in and got some images from pexels.com, which is a copyright-free image site. So I have some different images of bicycles here, none at exactly the right angle that we're looking at, but with the space that we've constructed here, we're going to be able to recreate a bicycle in the correct angle. But it is quite difficult. Again, like, I'm nervous doing this. I know that if I have to draw this like for real for a project, I would take my time and probably mess up quite a few times. Like, this is difficult. So we're gonna have the two tires right about here, I imagine, and then the seat is gonna be maybe around here, and we're gonna see a little bit of the side, but not too much. So far it looks pretty similar to what you've drawn. Let's remove this for a second so we can concentrate a little bit more on our bicycle here. Let's try to add the handles. It's gonna get complicated from here. So the handles, okay, there's a pole that's starting from thereabouts. Okay, and we're gonna have some handles, okay, right around here. Okay, so what I'm doing is taking these images and imagining, with the use of my box here, how it would look like in this angle, okay? And you want to use some things like a grid to help you try to put this into the correct angle. It is very tricky. If you have a reference image, or if you can take a reference photo that's exactly in the angle that you need, that's super helpful. But barring that, you can try to recreate using the basic shapes from reference images. Okay, and then, you know, we would have the little thing for the seat. Okay, it looks pretty okay so far, but now we gotta add the pedals, and I'm a little bit nervous. It would jut out from this side. Okay, we can see from this image here, it's kind of going here and the pedal is somewhere. So let's try to do something like that. Actually, this is going to follow the perspective here, okay. All right, and then we're gonna have the pedal that we're gonna see from about this angle. Now let's do the other side. The pedals are always inverse. So if this one is like this, then the other one is gonna be the reverse. And something like this. I'm not quite sure for this one. Okay, so that's our bicycle for now. Like, it doesn't even look like a bicycle much, just because everything is like stacking up on top of each other. It's a difficult angle. Now let's try to add a character on top of that. The character, of course, also has to fit in the same space. Let's remove some of these details. Yeah, we probably only need to keep the seat to get us started, and then we'll add the handles. So one of the main errors that you did here is that the way she's sitting is too straight on, okay? Let's have some shapes first and try to position them and construct them correctly in the right perspective before we draw a character on top of that. So there's gonna be a pelvis sitting here on this seat, okay? And we're going to see the top of that like this with a very, very open ellipse, okay? Because this is the box that we're working at. We're seeing from above, so we're gonna see a very deep ellipse like that. maybe even a little bit deeper. Okay, so that's your waistline on top of your pelvis. Okay, if we add a torso to that, we can add a torso, and this is also going to be with a very open ellipse. Okay, your torso here is a little too big. Sure, she's seen from above, so the torso will look a little bit bigger, but not quite as much. Let's draw here her torso. This will also be seen from above, so we can draw the ellipse here. This is very messy, but these constructions can really help you to, you don't draw a character right away. You place first these types of constructions, and that really helps you make it fit in the perspective. Now, the shoulders are right about here, and something that you did here is you drew the arms, down like this. If you look at the girl here, she has to lean her arms forward in order to reach the handles. The way you drew them, it makes it seem like the handles are super close to her, and that really screws up with the perspective. Okay, so they're a little bit down. I think what I want is something like this. And it really doesn't look like much. I'm not sure we're gonna be able to make this work. Okay, let's add some arms right here. And the hands. Okay, if we add our handles, okay, it doesn't quite fit, but it's not too far off. So let's put down our hands right here. Okay. Okay, I think that's about what we need to do here with the hands. Very, very tricky. An angle like this, sometimes it doesn't look like anything, so you need to like tweak the angle a little bit just to make it look better. It's like a bird seen from the front, with the beak in front. Sometimes it just doesn't look like much, and you have to turn the edge just a little bit so it looks better. The thing with being illustrators and not photographers is that we can cheat a little bit, and when the angle doesn't look right, we can turn it just a little bit. Maybe here you could have chosen to have an angle that's a little bit like this on the side, so the bicycle is like this, and then that would have been much easier to draw something like that. The girl would have been like this. It would certainly have been much easier to draw. Of course, we're not going necessarily for the easiest solution, but sometimes it just doesn't look right. Let's try to continue here. So our neck would connect here, right about here, and her head would connect on top of that, about like this. I like to draw some guides to help me. Here we don't see your head a lot because you drew this big sun hat, which is really cute, but I think it's a little bit too, we see it like perfectly like this. I think that's not quite exactly how it would be from this angle. I think it would be a little bit more like this. Perhaps we'd see it a little bit less from above, because it's more up, it's closer to your perspective point, so the ellipse is not quite as open as these ones. The closer you're getting, your ellipses start to flatten until you're closer to the horizontal line. So since you're up here, the hat won't be quite so much. So that would be about our character in this angle. We still have to add the the feet. something like this. Wow, it's ooh. I'm not sure about this, guys. Like I said, I was nervous about this, and you can see why. Like, this is really, really difficult. So all in all, great illustration. When you're doing something so tricky like that, it's very important to spend like a lot of time on your construction, making sure that it works completely. Use a lot of reference to help you, and you know, try to make it work as best you can. And if you can't, there's nothing wrong with cheating it a little bit so you can get something that's more pleasing. As an illustrator, you're a little bit like an architect, and you create your environment, the characters in it, you can place them wherever you like to best tell the story that you're trying to tell. And sometimes that requires a little bit of cheating. Thank you so much, Emilia, for this beautiful illustration that you submitted for the art reviews. I did my best. This was tricky. I look forward to see what you do in the future, Emilia. Now, the second illustration that we're going to review today is from Joe Koziarski. Joe has this absolutely fun and beautiful style. I really, really love it. It's so perfect for children's book illustration, and you have these beautiful children characters, so fun. You're really good at character design. These are really, really fun. Great colors, and you have storytelling here as well. So all the elements of a great children's book art. So you're doing really, really great. In terms of what we can improve, in this image, I see that the composition is very, very busy. You have, you know, your characters on top of your background, on top of objects. They're kind of lost in all of the lines because there's elements behind them, and there's just like a lot going on. We can see also there's a lot of tangents here that are created from everything being so close together. So tangents are when some lines touch together where they're not supposed to. Usually we try to avoid that. Like here you can see how the toe, you know, touches the line here. We try to avoid things like that because it just creates confusion in what is where. And you have a few instances in this image, just looking quickly, where things meet where they should be avoided. Here, the top of the tree with the bottom of this little window here, things like that. When you have so many elements in, oh, I just saw another one, the nose here with the tile, and also here the ear. When you have so many elements like this on top of each other, it's very hard to avoid these tangents. You also have some tone on tone here, like the dog with this little garden thingy here. So it's white on white. Without the line, this would be very hard to read. But even with the line, there's just not very much tone differentiation. So it kind of affects the readability of the image. Same things with the dogs here on the tile. It's a little bit of a difference, but it's not enough that really punches. So what it looks like here is that you design this complex background and then you place the characters in it. And you kind of had no choice in the matter because you already had like your stage, and then you added the things in the stage that was already made. As illustrators, as I said with Emilia's critique, we're architects. We're the one that decide this. So if you have a character there, you're the one that decides, well, then I won't have this in the background because I need my character there. So you're the one that plans the illustration exactly the way you want it for maximum readability, for maximum clarity. So let's remove all the scribbles that I made here. And let's see what we can do here with this illustration. So when you plan your illustration, you really want to make sure that all of your characters have a silhouette that is cleared of background elements. Cleared of detail, more like. If we didn't have this little garden thingy here, the image would be so much easier to read. So let's remove some of that. Here you go. So we cleared that thing, and already so much more readable. Of course, it looks a little bit empty. You know, you don't have to empty out everything. You could have like some bushes or something in the background here for sure. You know, it's up to you. Just what you want to do is reduce the amount of detail in area where you have characters. Another thing here, your characters here are overlapping, and especially since they're like little twig thin things with the feathers and with the feet, there's similar shapes that are intertwining. That's kind of confusing. Also, this little wall here is really interfering with this character's silhouette. So I think what I would probably do is try to cut it here. Like, does it have to go all the way here? You know, you're the one that decides that. You can decide to cut it right here instead so that this is more readable. You can absolutely do that. Of course, I'm going very, very quickly here, but you get the idea. We're also gonna try to do something about these little feathers. Since feathers are pretty pliable, flexible, you can put them in any direction that you want. They don't have to be pointing in this direction. You can draw them, you can cheat them. You can draw them a little bit shorter, like this, or you could draw them like in the other direction, like this. Do whatever you need to do so that the silhouette is clear and it's readable. Now, in some instances, it's not always possible to remove a background element to suit the needs. Sometimes it's necessary for the purposes of the story or the construction of the place that they're standing at. But you want to, as much as possible, eliminate details to be able to really make that clear. Here you have different colors in this brick, and the blue really stand out. Like, if this was a little bit more homogeneous, it would help already. These details are really interfering with the characters, especially because they have the dark line. Another thing that you can do is stop the lines just short of the character. This is a nice trick that you can do. We're still going to be able to read the thing that's behind it, but you can clear the silhouette artificially like that by clearing the lines. That's something that you can only do, of course, if you have line art style. And you have line art here. It's something that honestly is going to become your best friend. This is such a good trick to be able to cut the lines just short of the characters to make everything just a little bit more breathable. It's a stylistic choice, of course. You don't have to do something like that, but I think it really helps a lot. When I used to draw with lines, when I discovered this, it was like a game changer. Suddenly everything was just so clear. So I won't do the whole image here, but I just wanted to show you how you can do some simple things here to make your image more breathable and more easily read by just making the composition less busy and especially making your characters stand out more. But apart from that, beautiful illustration, really fun style. I think that you really got something great going on here, Joe. So that's it for today's art critique. If you too would like to improve your art and portfolio, and I have a free guide that you might enjoy. It's called 5 Most Common Portfolio Mistakes That Are Costing You Clients. And what's really cool about this guide is it doesn't just point out the mistake, it actually tells you how you can fix them today. It's completely free, and I will leave the link to that in the description below. So that's it for this video. I really hope that you enjoyed it, and if you did, then don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to help our small channel grow. Thank you so much for your support. I really appreciate it, and I will see you in the next video. Bye bye!